this would be my pride and joy. I mean, I favor Les Pauls in general, but this one is special to me because I bought it in 2009. At the end of Nine Inch Nails touring that year, we did 4 shows in smaller venues in LA, differing venues. We played the Palladium, which was a nice bigger venue, but then we played the Echoplex and the Henry Fonda and the Wiltern. So we're basically doing a little tour of LA, but something happened. I think maybe Trent came down with a cold. So I was stuck up here and I was thinking, well, why am I here? What am I doing? Should I go home? So of course the answer was, maybe I should go look at gear and maybe get something. I was with my brother Aaron at the time and he said, hey, play this guitar really quickly. And I loved Silverburst, but it was weird because usually when you see a Silverburst, they're Les Paul Customs and they have the big block inlays. And I was like, what is that thing? But this one has the binding. It's a very heavy guitar. And I was shocked that it was $1,600. So I was like, okay, I'll try it. Played it, I plugged it into a vintage AC30, which was a great sounding amp. But I was thinking, man, I think I need to buy this. But do I buy it? I don't want to deal with buyer's remorse because it was so impromptu. I wasn't expecting to actually walk in and walk out with a Les Paul. So I tried it out. I said, well, okay, before you take it, try out some other stuff. So he was just handing me guitars that were much more expensive than this one. And this one just kept sounding better and beating out those $6,000 or $7,000 Black Beauty Les Pauls and other things. So I thought, okay, maybe I'd found a unique guitar, but I still didn't know what it was. So the guy who was selling it to me told me, this is what he told me, is that it was like a 1980 prototype called the Les Paul SM. It's a very heavy body. I like that it has this part of the neck that goes outward, which they stopped doing in the mid-'80s, I think. But I like it because when you're playing open chords, it just kind of, it's a great, I don't know, it's a nice rest there. You're never gonna go past it. So I liked it. Already had the nice tuners on it, and it had this coil tapping switch, which he claims was stock. That's the way the guitar came. So it was clear that it was a one-of-a-kind sort of thing. I did go look it up when I went home. I didn't find anything on it. So perhaps I do have a prototype on my hands, one of a kind. But I love it. It's a great sounding guitar. It's my favorite guitar that I have. It's the one that I would be completely livid and bummed about if I didn't have it for whatever reason. Burnt down or somebody stole it. I'd probably do some terrible things. But I love it. It sounds great in the studio. It sounds live. I like heavy guitars. And the coil tap option adds a lot of versatility to it. I don't generally use it on the bridge pickup because it makes it really bright. You kind of have to turn the treble down on the amp to get a nice single coil sound out of it. But I always leave the neck coil tap because that has a really nice combination. So this is my favorite guitar, and I got it here in this very room. Yeah, at 7 or 8 years old, I have 2 older brothers who were obviously musicians before I was, 7 or 8. So I saw them playing on my dad's drum set, which is a beautiful 67 or 68 Silver Sparkle Ludwig drum set. And it was up in the garage and they were tinkering around with it and they had an interest in music. So something attracted me to the drums and I got up and started playing, and my dad, having been a drummer in his younger days, realized that I was actually playing the instrument even though I didn't know what I was doing. So he started teaching me some things, and once I learned and I actually knew how to use this instrument and what everything did, I became obsessed with it, and I've been playing drums ever since. At around 12 or 13 is when I started taking guitar very seriously. Bass shortly after that. I picked up classical piano at around 15 or 16, and I just love what every instrument has to offer. I mean, drums is most second nature to me, but it really is a very limited instrument. I mean, it lays the foundation that's required for most music, which is rhythm. But there's no melody, there's no chord structure, there's no harmony. So that's what really interested me with these other instruments. And then as I was picking up these different instruments, the older I was getting, I was thinking, I can do all these things, but I can't sing. And it was because I was extremely shy at the time. So at around 17 or 18 years old, I kind of sucked it up and said, if I want to do everything by myself, I need to sing. And I would just get very irritated in the studio with other bands that I played with, because drums are recorded first. Record the drums, do it very quickly in a day or two, and then I go home for months while everybody else is finishing up their parts. And between album to tour, there was just so much time. So I always depended on somebody. And I thought the answer to that problem would be to sing, do everything myself. So that's how the New Regime started, I think late 2008. And I've been doing the New Regime ever since. It doesn't feel like that long because I play with quite a few bands. I mean, most recently, 9 Inch Nails. I joined 9 Inch Nails in 2009. Angels and Airwaves I play with. I did some stuff with Paramore a couple of years ago. So, and those are some of the bands. I obviously had other bands that I played with to lead up to these other opportunities. But what I'm saying is that I've been very busy since the inception of the New Regime. So it doesn't feel like it's been since 2008. But at this point, I have 2 albums and 2 semi-albums. I don't want to call them EPs because I think that kind of cheapens what they are. But that's Exhibit A, and Exhibit B just came out a few days ago. So that's my discography at this point, and it's something that's continuously evolving. And I think this is my best work yet. So I'm excited for everybody to hear it.